Once upon a time, there was a man named Kong who had two wives. One was named Ang Am, and the other was named Neng Da. One day Kong took his two wives to visit his relatives in a distant land. On the road in that land, there was a fierce tiger. Kong took his two wives, and they reached a large forest near his land. In that forest, tigers often chased and bit people, buffaloes and cows. When Kong arrived at that place, the tiger started chasing him, screaming loudly from a distance. Kong ran into a cave, shaking his hands and legs, urinating with fear. Nyang Am and Nyang Da tried to fight the tiger and died. The husband saw that his wife had already killed the tiger, so he rushed out of the cave and took a stick and beat the tiger to death. The two wives blamed their husbands, saying, "The tiger has already been killed, so why are you trying to beat it again?" What a cowardly man. The husband cursed his wife, saying, "No woman has ever killed a tiger. Only a man dares to beat a tiger to death." Then the husband tied the tiger to a vine and carried his wife into the village. When the villagers saw the farmer carrying the tiger, they gathered around to look around and asked, "How did you get this tiger?" "This tiger is very fierce. It always bites people, buffaloes, and cows, and eats a lot of them." The farmer's wife told the villagers, "The farmer saw the tiger coming and ran into a cave. The two of us, the women, fought and killed the tiger." When the king heard his wife say this, he attacked her and said, "There has never been a woman strong enough to fight a tiger to death. Only a man is strong enough to fight a tiger to death." The king boasted to the villagers, "When the tiger came to bite me, I used this kind of fighting technique to fight it." The king then pretended to fight the tiger for the villagers to see. The villagers were afraid of the king and gave him the name Kong Hean. From that day on, Kong Hean became famous as a skilled fighter who knew how to fight tigers to death. This story reached the kings, and they raised him as a soldier to fight in the war. After a while, Chuan Shea had a war to fight against the kingdom, and the king used Kong Hean to fight. Kong Hean, hearing that the king had used him to help fight, was very scared and did not know what to think. He would not go to fight because the king had used him, and he had become famous as a strong man. He returned home, sleeping a lot and not eating. The two wives went to ask, "Why are you sleeping like this? What is the reason? What is the matter?" Kong Hean said, "Since the king has sent you to fight, I am very afraid of fighting now. I don't know what to think." His wife replied, "Don't worry about me. Get up, eat your fill, and take a bath to make yourself comfortable." Kong Hean, hearing his wife's comforting words, felt relieved. He got up, took a bath, ate his food, and prepared his equipment for battle. When he had finished preparing, when the time was right, he went in to bow to the king and leave for battle, taking his wife with him. Kong Hean rode on the head of the elephant. His wife rode behind, with the Rehapal following in front and behind in a full procession of troops. When they got close to the enemy and saw them clearly, Kong Hean was very scared, his legs and arms trembling as if someone was shaking the elephant's head. The elephant thought that they were shaking it to make it roll, so it rolled and rolled, rushing in ahead of all the Rehapal, and no one could catch up. The enemy, seeing Kong Dai rushing in with an elephant, thought that this general was very skilled and broke his army and fled, taking only his life with him. Kong Dai, seeing the enemy fleeing, made a show of arrogance so that all the nobles and the nobles were afraid. All the nobles saw Kong Dai pouring dung on the elephant's head so that it was covered with rot, and they asked, "General, why is there so much dung?" Kong Hean replied, "If you are fighting an enemy and are in pain and have to go down to relieve the suffering of an animal, where else can you relieve the suffering of an animal on the head of an elephant? If you are busy relieving the suffering of an animal, won't the enemy kill you for nothing?"